As I reported last week, Mitch McConnell's new GOP stimulus skinny bill proposed cuts to unemployment benefits and no new stimulus checks, a massive middle finger to working people who are still struggling to stay above water in the pandemic. Now, that bill failed, and McConnell knew it would fail because it was so ridiculously small and measly. Democrats opposed it. He's just trying to stall until after the election so he doesn't have to provide any relief for working people, even as there's stunning figures on poverty like these. 29 million Americans do not have enough food to eat in this year, 2020, which is 3 times the amount it was last year, according to a study by the Food Research and Action Center. That's 11% of US adults and over 20% of Black and Latino families, almost double the rate of white families. That's 29 million compared to 8 million adults, around 4% in 2018. And this comes after a July report that found that 6 million new Americans sought outside food assistance from the government for the first time in the middle of this pandemic in 2020. But yeah, let's just play around with the coronavirus relief bill this time around. A reminder, he has sat on the HEROES Act since May. The HEROES Act was over $3 trillion in relief. Then his GOP skinny bill that did fail was under $700 billion, chipping away, basically just spitting in the Democrats' face here. Sat on it for months, then proposes a tiny fraction of what they wanted. No stimulus checks and vastly reduced unemployment benefits. And then a massive focus on loans to businesses and protecting institutions, corporations, businesses from lawsuits if they return to work too early and they infect people there and they don't have the proper protocols. That's what he's prioritizing there in that bill. Oh, and of course, money for schools to reopen. Money for businesses to reopen. That's it. Nothing for regular people. As mass poverty is just an albatross on the neck of this nation in an economy that was already insanely rigged for the wealthy and for corporations. The pandemic has just exacerbated those things over and over. People have blown through their entire savings. They've got nothing, living paycheck to paycheck, and sometimes there isn't even a paycheck because unemployment is still enormous in this country. No health care, people working gigs, people scrounging together for food. And this is what the Republicans have decided to prioritize and do. Again, sitting on a relief bill for months. Now, there is some sort of compromise in the works right now in the Problem Solvers Caucus, which means regular people will very likely get screwed when Republicans and Democrats come together, especially moderate Democrats. That's what tends to happen. But the silver lining is that it does seem like $1,200 checks are being included in that negotiation. Look, I see the search patterns on the internet. People are looking every single day for updates on stimulus checks. McConnell would be wise to at least give on this for Republicans' chances in the fall. Speaker Nancy Pelosi said Tuesday the House will remain in session until lawmakers deliver another round of COVID-19 relief, a move that came as Democrats from swing districts signaled discontent with a standoff that could force them to face voters without delivering more aid. We are committed to staying here until we have an agreement that meets the needs of the American people, Pelosi said on CNBC. Pelosi's comments came as moderate Democrats, many from areas won by President Donald Trump 4 years ago, signed on to a $1.5 trillion rescue package endorsed by the bipartisan Problem Solvers Caucus. The price tag is significantly less than the $2.2 trillion figure cited by Pelosi, but it's also well above an approximately $650 billion Senate GOP plan that failed last week due to Democratic opposition. The Problem Solvers measure contains another round of $1,200 direct payments favored by Trump and Democrats but rejected by Senate Republicans in their most recent bill. It contains a liability shield against lawsuits brought against businesses that have reopened their doors that's favored by Republicans but opposed by Pelosi and trial lawyers. It offers a 2-month extension of bonus pandemic jobless benefits that splits the difference between the Pelosi-backed extension of the expired $600 weekly benefit that lapsed at the end of July and the $300 benefit favored by Senate Republicans. After 2 months, the benefit would increase back to $600, but not if that benefit caused a worker to exceed their wages. That last part makes it so needlessly convoluted. It's just so Republicans can squeeze extra dollars out of working people. But to me, what this signals is the bill that was proposed by McConnell in the Senate was really just to reset the negotiations in this way, where it makes it a lot less helpful to working people. And now you have the Democrats and the moderates and the problem solvers caucus caving on a lot of things so they can get things like the $1,200 payment. But since Trump wants the $1,200 payment, do you think McConnell wasn't going to include that in the bill? If he even passes one. He's either going to stall until after the election, which hopefully Pelosi holds his feet to the fire here, or was he really going to pass a bill without those payments since they're so popular? I just don't think so. So I think this is a part of his negotiating tactic that he's used so well in the past, is pretending to cave on things that Democrats really want. So they give him 70% of what he wants and then agreeing to that. Look, the unemployment benefits, if I were Democrats, I would say $600 a week, we're not moving. And of course the $1,200. We'll see. But the lesson that needs to be taken from this is McConnell played hardball and he didn't care about regular people. The bill that came through the House in May, he just sat on it and waited. And now Democrats are getting increasingly desperate, and he's preying on their humanity like he always does, and their want and desire to get reelected. Because there's no bottom to his barrel. So he'll wait and he'll wait, and he'll wait for the right time until he gets what he wants. It's crazy and it's psychopathic, but he often wins. So Democrats could learn a thing or two from him.